Yeah, I think we're on. Okay. Hello, class. We are going to be talking about fraction busting and decimal busting today. Fraction busting is when you have an equation that has a whole bunch of fractions and you want to make them go away. Basically, fraction busting is clearing out all fractions of an equation before solving. To get this done, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply your whole equation through by the least common denominator. We abbreviated the LCD for the least common denominator. So, for example, suppose I gave you this problem. One minus 2/3 y equals 9/5 minus 1/5 y plus 3/5. Now this thing looks pretty horrible, doesn't it? What we're going to do here is we're going to start solving this equation the way we start solving every equation. You know what that means. Draw your line. Now I look at this and I say, okay, this has a whole bunch of fractions and I hate that. So what I want to do is I want to make them go away. I have a denominator of 3, and then I have several denominators of 5. My least common denominator in this case is 15. I want you to remember that you can do anything to an equation that you want as long as you do it to both sides. So what I'm going to do to this equation is I'm going to multiply both sides by what the least common denominator would be, which is 15. Now, I'm going to distribute this 15 to every single term. 15 times 1 is 15. 15 times negative 2/3 . Notice I didn't simplify it yet. I just want to show that I'm multiplying this 2/3 here by 15. On the right-hand side, I take my 15, I distribute to all three terms. And I'm not going to simplify it yet. I'm just going to show that the 15 is getting multiplied in. This is going to be 9 times 15 divided by 5 minus 1 times 15 divided by 5y. Plus 3 times 15 divided by 5. So I've taken every single term and I've multiplied it by 15. Slide this up a little bit. Well, the nice thing that happens here is because 15 is the LCD for 3 and 5, all of these are going to reduce. I can divide 15 and 3 both by 3, and I get 1 and 5. I can divide 15 and 5 both by 5, and I get, let me write the 1 here, I get 1 and 3. 15 and 5, I can reduce that as well. I get 1 and 3. 15 and 5, I can reduce, I get 1 and 3. So if I look at what's left, this 15 is not going to change. This is going to be 15 minus, I look at the stuff that's left over, 5 times 2 divided by 1 is 10. Equals, this is 9 times 3 is 27. 27 divided by 1 is just 27. Minus 1 times 3 is 3. Plus 3 times 3 is 9. Now this looks like a much more user-friendly equation. I definitely know how to deal with this. And so what we did was we took our original equation, multiplied through by the least common denominator, which was 15. And what that does is cancels out all of the denominators and leaves me with a problem that looks more like this. Well, it looks exactly like that. This is much better. It's easier to solve. And that makes us happy. That's called fraction busting. Decimal busting is the same idea. Again, I'm not going to solve this. I just wanted to show you how to get the fractions to clear out. So from here, you would simplify each side, get the y's on one side, and solve. Let's talk about decimal busting now. Decimal busting is where you clear out all the decimals from an equation before solving. In order to do this, you are going to multiply by a power of 10. And what that's going to do is that's going to move your decimals to the right. And when I say a power of 10, what I mean is multiply by 10, multiply by 100, multiply by 1,000. These are all powers of 10. So it could be 10, 100, 1,000. You guys get the idea. All right, let's do an example. Suppose I gave you the equation 0.03x plus 0.7 equals 1.25 minus 0.6x. We start this equation the way we start every equation, and that is with a line down the middle. Now I look at this and I say, good golly, that has a lot of decimal points. That is awfully terrible. How can I make them go away? Well, in order to clear this decimal, I would need to move my decimal point 2 scoops to the right. Here, I need to move it 1 scoop to the right. Here, it's 2 scoops to the right. Here, it's 1 scoop to the right. So we look at the one that has the most scoops. I need to pull this 2 scoops to the right, which means in order to move something 2 scoops to the right, I'm going to have to multiply by 100. 3 scoops to the right would be multiplying by 1,000. 1 scoop to the right would be multiplying by 10. It really goes back to how many zeros you have. 10 pulls it 1 to the right. 100 pulls it 2 to the right. 1,000 pulls it 3 to the right. Okay. So you can do anything to an equation you want as long as you do it to both sides. I need to pull this 2 scoops over, which tells me I need to multiply both sides by 100. Take that 100, distribute it to both terms. That's going to pull this 2 scoops to the right. Same thing on the right. We distribute that. It goes 2 scoops to the right, 2 scoops to the right. What I get then, when I move this 2 scoops to the right, I get 3x plus. Notice here, when I pull it 1 scoop, it puts the decimal behind the 7. When I pull it a 2nd scoop, it adds a 0. So this is going to be 3x plus 70 equals 2 scoops to the right makes this 125 minus, this goes 1 scoop to the right, now it's behind the 6, I need to add a 0. That's going to be 60x. So I've taken an equation that had a whole bunch of decimals. We have decimal busted. And now we have an equation that has no decimals. We would solve this like normal. Simplify the left side, simplify the right side, get your x's on the same side, so I would add 60x to both sides, or I would subtract 3x from both sides, and then I would solve. Again, we're not going to do that because that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to talk about how to get rid of fractions and how to get rid of decimals. And that concludes this awesome lesson. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.